Caught my soon-to-be ex lying about his trips to see his new girlfriend, but now I'm using his deceit to win the divorce war. Today my soon-to-be ex, STBX, dropped off the kids after having them for a few days. He told me yesterday he would be dropping them off at noon. When 1 o'clock arrived I was a bit worried. All my texts to him were answered with 1 or 2 word answers. That is strange for him to do. I get a text at 1:45 that he is on his way and that the AF is with him. What? I was never informed that she would be here with the kids. I have no idea if she has been here the whole time or just flew in today. I was furious. I don't care if it's her or anyone else, I want to know who my children will be around. Period. Full stop. So they arrive and I let her into my home. While he sorts through the mail she stands awkwardly in my foyer. So then I say, I will just tell both of you since you are here, if the kids are going to be around her or anyone else. I want to know. I support your relationship and I'm happy you, AP, are here with them, I just want to know beforehand and not after the fact. He looked offended. He smushed his face almost in disbelief. She stood statue still and refused to make eye contact. I understand her position. She was in enemy territory and then I hit her with a bomb. I'm not mad at her, she probably had no idea he didn't tell me. Maybe he lied and said he did, who knows, but she is a mom, I'm sure she gets my point, whether she agrees or not. My issue is with him. I know I'm right, I know it should be a non-discussion, common sense if you will. But no, he left being very cold to me and I started to second-guess my decision to say something. Did I let my emotions get the best of me? Or did he gaslight me and make me feel like I'm crazy? Did they think because we had one meet that she had the green light to play stepmom now? Newlyweds always look forward to their honeymoon. White sandy beaches, topical drinks with little umbrellas, sex all day and all night. Paradise, right? Well, my STBX and I never took one. We were in the process of buying a house and could not afford to do both. Well, I say we were buying a house but in reality it was me. I put the 20% down and the mortgage/deed is in my name because he was broke and had terrible credit. But, he said he was okay with skipping the honeymoon and that when we were married for 10 years we could take that honeymoon together. Super sweet, right? Well, we booked the Bahamas trip for August 2020 but COVID had other plans. Thanks COVID. Then as you all know, him and the AF started their little relationship in September of 2020. Well, this weekend he took our honeymoon trip, with her. A lot of really crappy things have happened since I found out about the affair in November, but this one really hurt. I gave this man 13 years of my life, 2 kids, a home, bought him 2 cars, made countless meals, stayed up with newborns and sick children, shuttled the kids to activities, etc. And my reward for years of doing literally everything was taking her on the trip we booked together. He really twisted the knife he plunged into me with this one. So this past weekend I unplugged. Took the boys to the beach and had our own mini vacation. I was keeping myself occupied and spent time making memories with the boys. Saturday evening after the boys are in bed my phone rings. It's my Zmiel. She probably is just checking up on the kids. A bit of backstory, they've had a rocky relationship over the years and he does not speak to her for things that I found out later were mostly just lies and stories he made up in his head. Anyway, I ignored the call. I just didn't feel like chatting. A few minutes later my Zl calls me. Now I think something is wrong. I answer. She is concerned and angry. Are you okay? What's going on? Have people been calling you? I was so confused. Well, as it turns out his AF took a picture of them together in the Bahamas, posted to her Facebook and tagged my STBX. What? I was in complete shock. Let me explain. A lot of people don't know about our situation. I haven't told my extended family, most of my coworkers and even some friends. He was so paranoid about his family finding out because he knew they would be upset, especially his grandmother who thinks he is the golden child. So, there it is. Out in social media for all to see. Our shared family members, my coworkers and friends. I was livid. He took away the possibility of us salvaging our marriage with his affair. My hands were tied, he was in love with someone else. Fine. Now he took away my privacy. My marital status is now out there for all to know. Again, I was stripped of the ability to make a decision for myself and tell people on my own time. I went through my phone and saw I had missed calls from 2 coworkers and a friend. I can only assume that's why they called. I haven't called them back because I don't know what to say. Haha, yay, I'm separated. Yay, I didn't want to tell people till I was legally divorced. Yes, he has a girlfriend. Sure, I'll retell the story and live through that pain again, no problem. So I confronted him via text. His response? We are divorced in everything but the paperwork. You've gone on dates and living your life just like I am. What? You mean the only thing that really signifies a divorce is the one things we don't have? What an idiot. And yes, I've gone on a handful of dates but I'm not posting about each one to social media and sending selfies to our family and friends. Look, I get it. You are in a relationship and you are happy. That is great, all I'm asking for is a little respect. You publicizing your vacation with her also affects me. But, I guess you have to give a shit first to recognize that. I want you all to know I read each and every one of your comments. A lot of you have stated that I need to start doing for me. I want you all to know that I hear you and I agree with you. I have been wrestling with a decision for the past few weeks now concerning my future and the boy's well-being. Today when I pick up the boys from his apartment I'm going to tell him my plan in which I require his signature. I hope he doesn't fight me on this. It's what's best. I don't want to reveal too much or my reasoning as you never know who is reading. I will update you all soon. Months ago when we started the mediation process there was a great deal of negotiating. We both flip-flopped on our wants and made compromises. One thing I was never willing to compromise was retaining the house in the divorce. I made concessions and declined alimony but never wavered on the house. It was agreed that the house would be 100% mine and there would be no alimony. Now, because my STBX was so done with the mediation process and looking forward to his new life, he never took the time to have the house properly assessed. Instead he opted to just take a number off an outdated website and use that as our base point to figure out home value. Idiot. Our mediator did the numbers based on what we owe on the house and what our profits would each be. Then she figured out what alimony over a period of time would be and it was close to what his profit for the house would be. So he agreed to the arrangement. But, the home value was inaccurate. He didn't know that, but I did. So, now that our divorce agreement filed into court has me owning the house, which is only in my name BTW, I had to have him sign off that I could sell it before the divorce was finalized and that he could not retain any of the profit from the sale. He came over to pick up the boys and I talked to him about it. I explained how a move would help the boys as we would go live with my mother who lives in a fabulous school district. It would also help me to not struggle financially and allow me to return to school for my third degree without worrying about tuition or childcare. Our kids would have round-the-clock care from me and my retired parents and be close to their cousins who also live in that town. He agreed it was a good idea, signed the paperwork and left. I immediately sent the papers to my lawyer. A weight has been lifted off my shoulders. The next morning I awake to a long text message from him. With time to think and time to speak to his AP probably, he became very angry. He accused me of making a selfish decision and it wasn't best for the boys. So you mean to tell me a better school system, town-sponsored sports teams, living with grandparents who have time to spend with them, going to school with their cousins of the same age and allowing me the ability to not struggle financially and provide them with more is a selfish idea? So I asked him, when he plans to move across the country to be with AP, will that move be in the best interest of the boys or him? Silence. He knew I was right so he switched gears. He then complained about the commute for him to pick up and drop off. I reminded him this move adds to my daily work commute as well and is not just an issue for him. But it would benefit the boys so I'm willing to do it. Plus it's only 18 miles farther from him. It isn't clear across the state. Then the real reason, he wants money. He said he deserves some of the profit for the money he contributed for 10 years. Okay, I see your point, but you gave me the house willingly after I declined alimony. Then you signed off willingly that I could sell before the marriage was finalized. You should have done your research about what the house was worth like the mediator suggested instead of just relying on the internet. If I give you a dime it's out of the goodness of my heart because I'm not obligated to do anything for you. So I asked him, after all these months and what you put me through, do you deserve my kindness? He changed the subject and complained about something else. Avoiding the question and the obvious answer. Now I get to truly start over. My boys and I will be surrounded by family who love and support us. I will have zero financial worries, be able to return to school, put money away for the boys' college and have enough left to put down on another home when the housing market settles down. This is a decision that was necessary for my future and the future of my boys. I've been waiting to get to the point to be able to do this and the time is now. The boys will start in a new school with their cousins in September and I am already looking into town sports and activities for them. I know my STBX is angry and bitter about this, especially since his hands are tied. But he made a decision for himself a few months ago to start this affair and that was exactly how I felt. Now we both move on and look towards the future we selected for ourselves. The past few days I spent at the beach with my dearest friend and her children. The kids played, ate pizza, swam and made great memories. We all did. I appreciated the mental break from life and just kicking back and soaking in all life has to offer. In the evening we tucked in our children, who were rightfully exhausted, and then sat outside in the warm salty air and talked. We sipped white wine and gabbed for most of the evening. It was so lovely and a reminder that good friends are so necessary. The family that you can choose. Of course our conversation drifted from time to my STBX and that is to be expected. She started speculating on why and when and all other factors that could have led to his decision and there were so many questions. After finishing our glasses we came to the conclusion that there is no rhyme or reason and logic fails us in this inquiry. What we did start to explore, which I had not previously, was what were her motivations. She legally divorces and a month later is dating my STBX. Granted they were friends and former colleagues, but to jump right into serious dating less than a month after a divorce seemed strange. My friend then said, she didn't even get the chance to have a rebound. Then it hit me, is my STBX the rebound? A man was giving her comfort during a difficult time, giving her gifts, flying to her, etc. Is it possible this is a safe and comfortable rebound for her? Aside from regular visits, he has flown out there 3 times just to accompany her to weddings. During my investigation before Confrontation I read multiple messages from him telling her that he loved her and she did not reciprocate that sentiment. Maybe she does now, but she did not then. Again, I know this is futile, a waste of my time and will be fruitless, but I'm so curious to this possibility. I know many have stated that I speak too much about him, should move on, live my life, I am woman hear me roar, but the real truth is this post is therapy to me. A diary entry if you will. At no point did I ever expect or promise to be a role model or a beacon of shiny light to struggling victims of infidelity. Instead, I am being honest and truthful to what surviving a cheater looks like. It's unforgiving, it's empowering, it's a struggle and most importantly, it's a process. So yes, I will get to the happy place we all hope for, but until then this is the journey. Take the ride with me and see the reality, or sit on the sidelines and wait for the happy ending. Makes no difference to me because I'm strapped in and gunning the gas. Buckle up buttercup because it's full speed ahead. Back in May of this year I made the custody schedule that my STBX and I currently follow. I took into consideration all of his visits out to see her and I structured a fair and equal schedule. Again, that was May. He left on Wednesday evening to go visit her and he was set to take a red-eye home last night, Sunday, and then pick the boys up this morning. I confirmed the pickup times before he left and even during the day Sunday. I awoke to this message today. While I was not happy he seemed sincere and I understand flights are currently unpredictable. I had appointments scheduled for today and plans this evening which I had to reschedule. I had to also explain to the boys that the schedule for today had now changed. I told him he should probably avoid red eyes moving forward and he agreed. Again, I'm relaying all of this to you very calmly but I was a bit frustrated and annoyed this morning. Then I retold the story to my sister and she commented, "It seems weird that he got the same exact flight time. Sunday flight schedules are usually different than Mondays." She was right. So, I looked up the airport he was flying out of and there was no delayed or cancelled flight scheduled for that time on Sunday evening. He was lying. He never scheduled a flight for Sunday. He was always due to return Monday evening, he just didn't bother to tell me. When I called him out on it and asked for his flight cancellation information, he just sent the new flight for this evening and said he wasn't going to get into this with me today. All I asked for was a screenshot from his United account showing the flight was cancelled and he couldn't do that. Instead he just insisted I was crazy and failed to provide any evidence that he was in fact telling the truth. This is a great example of what he does. On the exterior he is kind and apologetic, but deep down he is manipulative and sneaky. Then when I call him on the BS he is defensive and dismissive. I'm frustrated because he is always telling me we need to communicate better and meanwhile he still refuses to do so. Do as I say, not as I do. I wonder if the AP knows he did this? I doubt it. This woman is welcoming this pathological, manipulative liar into her life and she has no idea. I honestly feel bad for her but I guess that's what you get when you knowingly poach a cheater. He is probably telling her I'm going off on him for a completely different reason, always making me the bad guy. I feel a bit defeated because I know while he lives here and we share this custody arrangement he will continue to take advantage and manipulate me. Then he gaslights me into thinking I'm crazy. It's a cycle that I don't know how to break. The part that angers me the most is if he would have told me before he left that he needed an extra day I would have been accommodating. I wouldn't have booked appointments or made evening plans. I would have said okay and told him I'd like to just tack on an extra day somewhere for me. No harm, no foul. Why couldn't he just do that? Why build a story about being at the airport most of the night, talking to flight reps for 2 hours, trying to get earlier flights that were booked or expensive? Why do any of that? Who are you protecting? I honestly don't understand his motivations or reasoning. All I know is that I need this behavior to stop so I can go about my life. First and foremost let me just say, the audacity of my STBX will never cease to amaze me. With that being said, let's talk about money. January 2020 my STBX and I created an MSA. This MSA had me declining alimony and keeping the house. Come March 2020 he wanted to change the MSA for a different custody arrangement, not for the house or other assets. June 2020 we sign our MSA but in our state once the paperwork is served to the defendant they have 30 days to contest the MSA. Spoiler, he did not contest. July 2020 I decide I want to sell the house so I have him sign another legal document waiving his right to the home and any equity/profit from sale. Now we fast forward to September 2020. He wants the house. I swear this man makes his own rules. Luckily I had hired a lawyer already and she explained to me that his chances of getting the house now are non-existent, but he could fight the relocation of the children. She explained it would be a lengthy procedure and very expensive on both of our ends. I know for a fact my STBX is struggling financially so I called his bluff. I told him to get a lawyer. I can prove financially that I need to sell the house. I can also show they are moving to a far better school district, will be attending school with their cousins, have more opportunity for extracurriculars and will have round-the-clock care from grandparents. I took the children to see their new school and it is quite amazing. The kids are so excited to go to their new school. I have all of the chips stacked in my favor. Also our MSA has him tentatively moving out of state at some point. Why would a judge agree to keep them closer to their dad if he will be leaving soon? His defense for the relocation? It's a long drive. Really? The commute went from 12 miles to 28 miles. I didn't move across the state. Is it convenient? No, I get that, but it's not impossible. He suggested the boys start their new school in January. January? He said they should stay in the house until it is sold. This suggestion makes no sense. If the commute is your issue, how does that commute change in January? Newsflash, it doesn't. It makes zero sense to have the kids start a routine only to pull them out. They will start a new school and be behind on whatever curriculum they are teaching. So I thought about it, what is his motivation to push for January? Then I realized, his lease is up in March. He is probably moving to her state. So a commute from January to March is much easier than September to March. Once again, a decision made in his best interest and not in the boys'. I think he sees the odds are not in his favor on this one and he has stopped fighting me. For now. So money, it makes the world go round, right? It apparently makes my divorce more complicated as well. Insert eye roll. My STBX, since learning I would be selling the house, has asked me on different occasions for $5K, then $10K, then $15K, and now with the threat of lawyers, $20K. Did you eat paint chips as a kid? Cause you are serious delusional. You are entitled to nothing. If I give you a dime, it's because I want to, and you can't give me a dollar amount that I am gifting you. It's my money, buddy. I told him I'm no longer entertaining talks of money with him. He knows he's at my mercy and I kinda like it. Lastly, I received a Facebook message on August 23rd which I never saw because the person was not my friend. I saw it yesterday and lo and behold, it's the AP's ex-husband. He says to me, "Hi, insert real name, it's, insert APX name. How are you? I feel like we should talk. Maybe we can help each other figure some things out? I just wanted to reach out and see if you wanted to talk about anything." I am not really that surprised. They talked for years. Wow, plot twist. I've heard terrible stories about him. But the AP has heard terrible stories about me which were untrue. Could she be as big of a liar as my STBX? Could the Apex know more than I do about their affair when it comes to timeline? Maybe he knows a move date? I feel like this is a conversation I should entertain, but cautiously. I messaged him back and I'm awaiting a reply. I will post once I have some answers. Readers, I'm sorry it has been so long, especially with the cliffhanger I left you with. My life, as usual, has been a bit upside down. Between moving, selling the house, starting back to in-person school and my graduate program, I don't know if I'm coming or going. But I of course made time to speak with the AP's ex, APEX. First of all, as I stated in previous post, I was told this man was a terrible person. A drunk, a gambler, a womanizer, etc. and stupid me, I listened, but now I can hear the other side of the story. One that isn't tainted by my ex and his AP. I learned so much, so forgive me if it seems all jumbled. I have no idea where to start. So in a nutshell, here is what I learned. He did have a drinking problem but got sober in 2017. The Apex has known that they have talked for years and unlike me, knew there was romance brewing. I learned that my STBX met her a few years ago for dinner when she was in the area for work and he told her that he loved her. She told her so and he said he knew at that moment something would happen with them eventually and he shut down emotionally with her. That was the beginning of the end for him. He confirmed my notion that she liked to be fawned over. He suspects she entertained my STBX for the attention and to receive attention from her, so gross, right? Anyways, they were not meshing and grew apart. They did not divorce in September of 2020 as I was told, but instead they separated at that time and weren't legally divorced till March 2021. Even grosser, right? She raped this man over the coals financially as well. She closed out their joint account and took all the money and then filed for divorce. What a peach, huh? She brought up his 2017 rehab stint to get full custody with supervised visitation for him. She is also introducing him to her family and friends as her new boyfriend and leaving out the affair and the fact that he is married still. The Apex is apparently still friendly with her family and some friends and wants to make sure that this fact becomes common knowledge. Justified exposure and I'm here for it. The Apex also thought my STBX was already living in their state and was not aware he was staying in her house with her when he visits. Spoiler, it's his house, not hers. Needless to say he is not happy about this. He was also not aware till he found me on Facebook that we had children together. Apparently this wasn't an important detail for the AP to bring up when she mentioned my STBX to him. He also confirmed that she is a spender, money is like water, and she will probably bleed my STBX dry. We ended our hours-long text chain with a job for each other. He is tasked with finding out the official move date for my STBX and he would like to know when he is traveling to their state and staying in their house. Phew. That was a lot. I hope you were able to digest all of that. I had a rather expensive phone call with my lawyer the other day. It turns out he can challenge the MSA for the house, but it will be a long process and the divorce will probably be finalized by the time it goes through. She also said the timing isn't good, as he had his 35 days to dispute the MSA and he has waited until after I put the house on the market to fight for it. She assures me the judge will see this as a backpedaling money grab on a legal document that we both agreed to and not support it. As for my relocation, he can also dispute that, but I officially live in this new town and have completely moved out of my house. My STBX claims I violated my MSA with legal custody enrolling them in a new school. My lawyer again reminded me I am the custodial parent and if I move they have to go to school wherever I live. He is still pushing for the 20K and my lawyer is confident he has zero grounds for receiving it and will ultimately give up this fight as it's an expensive legal process and he is currently in the red financially. Oh, get this, the boys had their first day of school on Thursday, 9/9, and I was going to pick them up from my STBX place on September 8th and bring them with me so that they can start fresh in the morning. The evening of 9/8 was technically his night to have them, but he agreed to me taking them days prior. So he sends me a text claiming that 9/8 was his night and he would keep them home on their first day of school unless I agreed to the 20K. Excuse me, did you just hold my children prisoner for a check? Are you admitting truancy? I told my lawyer this and she balked. She said this will be the first screenshot she presents if and when we go to court. Bottom line, nothing is in his favor. His AP is trying to squeeze me like she did her ex. But baby girl, you don't know me, so you obviously don't know who you are fucking with. Have you ever seen A Bronx Tale? It's a classic coming-of-age mafia drama with a touch of romance and a dash of racial tension. Okay, I'm no Siskel and Ebert, but I think this film is must-watch. Lately I've been thinking about this film much more. There is a scene in the movie in which the young protagonist is angry at a kid who has not paid him back $20 that he lent him. Sonny, the wise crime boss/father figure asks him, was he a good friend of yours? And the young man replies, no, I don't even fucking like him. So Sonny tells him, there's your answer right there, look at it this way, it cost you $20 to get rid of him. He's out of your life forever. I keep circling back to this scene because I feel like it is so relevant to me now. My wish, selfish as it may seem to some, has always been that my STBX would move away and leave my boys and I to move on peacefully. Is it possible that by giving him a check that I could make this happen? Again, I'm just toying with this idea. I know my STBX, I know what he ultimately wants and that's to leave and start a life with her. If I give him money I would be financing his move out of my life. Let me explain how I know this to be true. Last week when we argued about money and he asked for a ridiculous sum of $20K to pay for his expenses of shuffling the boys back and forth and wear and tear on his car, I called his bluff. I told him I'd give him the $20K but stipulated that he can't move out of state for 2 years. He was enraged at this. You can't tell me what to do with it and where I can live, blah blah blah. If he really wanted money to pay for commuting expenses for the kids, like he claimed, he would have snatched this deal. But he didn't, so I know he has no intention of staying. So if, and I said if, I decide to give him money it would only be carried out after he signs a legal document stating that he is receiving a one-time payment. I have been more open to this idea because, 1, I want him to go, 2, my house is under contract and I am receiving well over asking, 3, if he moves out of state he owes me close to $1K a month in child support and I'll make my initial investment back in no time. But I also hate the idea. This man bet it all and won. I was the victim and I lost and I feel like I keep losing. I know I'm playing the long game here and years from now when the AP bleeds him dry and or he cheats again, cause he will, and or my kids grow to learn what he did and what not part of him, I will have one. But I feel like for that to happen I have to take some lumps now. I'm going all 3 rounds and the bell hasn't even rung for the end of the first. I have a lot of thinking and talking to my lawyer to do. Is it another loss for me to give him the money, or is it just another of my elaborate, yet patient, plans like the one that started this post months ago? I'm still debating. Sometimes, and only sometimes, my life shocks even me. I sit back and look at the situation and think, this poor girl. How did she ever get here? Then I snap back to reality and realize that poor girl is me. Just when I think the worst has been done and I've seen it all, another event surprises even me. It's like I'm walking around in complete state of disbelief and my jaw is locked in an open and stupefied position. 4 very short days ago I actually had a moment of weakness and entertained the idea of giving him what he wanted, yet again, and signing a check over to him. And then, just to kick himself in the pants, today happens and now there is zero doubt in my mind. He will never see anything from me and that's the only thing he will be able to take to the bank. Wednesday and Thursday night, according to this month's custody schedule that he made, were supposed to be his overnights. He told me a few days ago that he had to be in work very early Friday morning and asked if he could drop the boys off Thursday evening and lose his night with them due to work. I said okay and we kept it moving. Today, Friday, while at work I get a text from Apex. The AP texted him to warn him that my STBX would be there at 8 a.m. Saturday morning to watch their oldest child's sports practice. She wanted to give him a heads up and asked Apex to be respectful. This would be the first time they have met. Apex isn't thrilled about it and I don't blame him. But, Apex texts me to give me a heads up that he was in their state. But wait, how could this be? He had to go into work this morning, he usually works from home #Thanksgiving, and there is no way he could be there. So I thought about it, how could I figure out that he took a flight this morning or potentially after work today? Then I remembered, he has my Easy Pass in his car. If you don't know what Easy Pass is, it is a toll pass transponder that allows you to zip through road tolls but records the date, time and location. So, I returned to my Nancy Drew days of yore and logged into my account. And there it was, he left his apartment at the first toll at 5:58 a.m. and exited at the toll for the airport at 6:03, yes it's a short distance, especially at 6 a.m. This was not the direction he needed to head to for work. He obviously boarded a plane this morning, so he gave up an evening with his kids, on a night he scheduled, to go to see her and her children, and then lied to me about it. Just to be at her son's practice and eat dinner with them and not his own boys. Ladies and gents, I present to you, father of the fucking year. So I call him, multiple times. No answer, and forwarded to VM most of the times as well. Then I text him, he reads but does not respond. Then he finally responds almost 3 hours later and says he was on a plane and wasn't ignoring me, and he didn't board until after he was done with work, which was after 1 p.m. Then I tell him I've seen the Easy Pass, and he reads my messages and doesn't respond. He has been caught. He has no defense. Caught in a timestamped lie. How can you defend yourself from that? Spoiler, you can't. But honestly, I'm happy. So happy. He helped me make my decision about the money. For the tiniest second I thought we were going to reach common ground and be amicable. That we've established mutual respect and we're going to be forthcoming adults. Ha 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 ha, stupid me. He's an idiot and incapable of that. Insert facepalm slap. So, I deactivated the Easy Pass. Have fun paying tolls on your way home. He's broke and can't afford a lawyer's retainer, so he just paid a fee to have a document drafted that asks for the $20K. I'm supposed to sign it and return it to him. I told my lawyer to ignore the letter. It's not a filed motion, it's a letter asking, begging, for money he doesn't deserve. So it will be ignored. Want to take me to court? Pay a lawyer like I did. And then after you wasted money you don't have, on a case that I have checked and double checked that I can't lose, then maybe you'll see how royally screwed you really are. At about 10:30 a.m. I had to text him. I didn't want to, I want to start keeping him at arm's length, but I had to make sure he was picking the boys up from school. So I texted him and asked for confirmation. He seemed confused as to why I needed confirmation. Perhaps it's because you were irresponsible and completely unpredictable? I had questions for him about why he lied, but I realized asking would be futile. He would just lie, or gaslight, or even ignore. So I decided to do the same. Why am I jeopardizing my sanity? It's like pulling teeth, and honestly, all the teeth are rotten. But then, to my surprise, he starts interrogating me. He has questions about Apex. Well, apparently Apex spoke to the AP and stated that he questioned my STBX's character since he is still married. Her response? They separated before we did, lie, and their paperwork has been in the courts for over a year waiting to be processed, second lie. I think I see why my STBX and her get along so well. Literally made for each other. Anyway, Apex knew when we separated and that we are still married, so he retorted that we've only been separated since 12/2020. And this is why men can't be trusted. I trusted Apex with a little bit of info and our cover is blown. My STBX wanted to know how he knew this, since apparently me, him and the AP are the only ones who know we are still legally married. What's wrong, honey? Afraid people will find out your dirty little secret? Her friends and family will find out that she is a husband stealer? Yikes, that won't help the perfect little image you have. My STBX claimed the Apex is scum, unsafe, can't be trusted, and if I'm talking to him I need to stop. Wait, hold up. Did you just try to tell me what to do? I'm sorry, you must have me confused with someone who has to listen to you. 'Cause I know damn well that's not me. So I ask, what does it matter if I talk to him? I didn't choose to have children with him. If he is so unstable, her procreating with him is more unsafe than me speaking to him. This sounds like a her problem and not a me problem. Again, I think him saying he is unsafe for the children is using her kids as the scapegoats. I think they are just afraid of their dirty laundry being aired. Concerning the neglecting of our kids to hop a plane to her state, he claims that I have it all wrong. Warning, here comes the lies and gaslighting. He claims he drove to the airport in the morning, boarded mass transit and headed to work, then returned to the airport and hopped a plane. Are you crazy? This is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Not to mention he lives in a commuter town, closer to the city he works in than the actual airport. How does this even make sense? My reply, listen /_______________________________________________________________________________________________________________ it doesn't matter. I don't ever expect you to be honest, and that's fine. You've lied to me for over a decade and I don't expect any of that to change. It doesn't matter, it's AP's issue now, not mine. Then he went on to defend himself, claiming he hasn't lied about a thing. A dear friend told me, he thinks he is playing you and winning, but he is playing this game alone. I'm not a competitor sitting across from him at the chessboard. Each time he thinks he's winning by dealing me a blow, he's actually hurting himself. Every lie he tells makes it a little bit easier to not give a shit. Every stupid, selfish thing he does only helps my case against him. He is playing this chess game by himself and every winning move is a loss. Only once the divorce is finalized, and the chessboard is cleared, will he see that his king has fallen and all the pieces are mine.